Last week Tuesday, some this guy that I know, he drives what's the name of this is it this Lexus RS 330 or RS 300, I've forgotten. So and so he came and was asking what from an opinion concerning his Lexus vehicle. Of course, he's aware that I don't do Japanese, but he just wanted to know what the issue might be. And so he kept going. Eventually, I found out that the symptom he was having is fuel related, which he also suspected. But then, according to him, since they've tried a lot of fuel pump, tried so many of them, the issue remained. And so he now came to the conclusion that it probably might be the engine. Anyway, to cut it short, so since his own car too is a V6, so I told him, um, see, there's a brand that I use on mine, and so far it works for my V6. Because one thing about fuel pump is it's not all. It might work on a lower powered engine, might pull it well, but on one that has more power, it may not be able to. So I explained to him that for my V6, this particular fuel pump has been working well for me. So eventually, I gave him the contact of the person that I buy the pump from for my own car or for other people's cars that I work on that have fuel pump issue. So he went and made the purchase that same day, Tuesday last week. So I didn't hear from him until yesterday, which is Monday. How many days? I don't know. Do the calculation. So he told me ever since he purchased and put this pump you are looking at on the screen, as in the whole engine power came back, because before I was doing a lot of things, other usual fuel pump related issue, but he was thinking that it has probably not fuel pump, since how come every other one he tried didn't work. Because he was buying from the Japanese store. So in this case, I told him the brand. And when he saw the pump, he actually said it's basically the same with all the ones he has been buying. That is so that it based on the shape, that is, it should match his vehicle. In terms of the PSI, I didn't bother to check, because I don't know about Japanese, so there's no way I would tell whether it will work or not. But I told him this is what I use. Maybe it might work for you. Or maybe you might find it may be a version of it for the Japanese, I do not know. But if you can get this brand, so I decided to buy it from my own contact and it works. So I would recommend anyone who drives, especially natural aspirated Peugeot vehicle, and you need to change your maybe. Okay, even if the current one in your car is working, get this one as spare. Get it as spare as keep. Now, of course, the one I'm referring to is just the pump, not the entire assembly or unit, fuel pump unit. I'm talking about only the fuel pump itself, not the unit. So it's always good to have this fuel pump, in case you might need it. Me, I always have it in my car, whether I'm traveling or not. I always have a spare there, new one, so that anywhere it happens, I deal with it right there. But if you are not the type that, you are not that technical in terms of knowing how to replace the pump, you may probably not. But it's very light, small object, so it's not something that's going to take a lot of space. You can find somewhere in your boot and leave it there. Because one thing about keeping spare parts in your house is, the day you might need it, maybe you might be traveling, you forget to put it in the car before you travel, only for you to need it in the journey, or then realize that, oh, I forgot it at home. So it's always good, unless it's something big, heavy, that will take a lot of space in the car. or has weight. In that case, yeah, there's no need to be keeping such things in your car. Um, you wait until when you need it or when you need to travel. But in this case, very tiny object, because you might say, oh, well, you can always get a fuel pump elsewhere. You probably might not, especially for Peugeot cars. Because you don't know where it will happen. And where it might happen, yes, you will probably have access to technician that will be able to remove the pump and put another pump. But then there is no fuel pump to put. What if it was on Sunday? What if maybe where it happened, the market was closed in that town, so you can't even. So always have it. For about putting it or changing it is a different thing. You can always find someone who might be able to remove it and put another one. But the part itself is more important than who will be able to change it for you. So always have a spare fuel pump, especially for natural aspirated. Even for non-natural aspirated self, at least the pressure might not be enough for your engine, like all these turbocharged engines. It might not be enough, but at least it will be able to get you out of the place to where you are going. So that's the point. Have something that will be able to at least not keep you stranded. That's why you call it spare. Spare can still serve as the main part, but at least spare is just like your spare tire. It's not supposed to be your main tire. If you fail on the journey, if you have a blowout or flat tire, the spare is just to put and continue your journey, or take you where you can now buy tire, change, put back the main rim or tire, then put the spare back where it was, So that's why we refer them as spare. In my own case, what I do is, like I said, I buy just, I always have this pump in many of my cars that I'm driving. Whenever it happens, I'll put it. Once it goes in, I know it has entered. Then I'll buy another one and keep in the car as well. So that anytime, anywhere, So I hope. So for this, see, I know there are a lot of people that do sell this brand. Well, I won't say a lot, but I know there are one or two or three or maybe a lot of, I don't know, whatever, that sell this brand, but I only buy for one person. When it comes to Nigeria, you could see a particular brand or product, but the qualities might differ from one seller to the other. So I choose to buy. It might be the same, but I don't care. I just choose to buy for one person because the one I've been buying for him has been working for me. So I don't, why should I try somebody else that might disappoint? Imagine you are on a journey, you get a fuel pump, a new one, because the current one in the car has failed. It's only for that one to die or may not even work at all. Imagine, that's very big disaster. So I just buy from person I know his own has been working for me. However, I will put it, I'm not saying the fuel pump is that perfect. At least what made me vouch for this pump to a large extent is how it served me in my first visit. 4 years. It lasted 4 good years before it eventually packed up. So but however, there was a time that was I think there was a time I put it in my 505 V6 before I packed the car. I use it for like a day or two, and the car eventually I left it, and before I knew it, about 2 years later, I tried starting the car, the fuel pump was gone. So it was a brand new pump I drove it that day. I think probably the next day, or only that day, parked the vehicle. 2 years later, because I didn't start it again. 2 years later, make an attempt, it was gone. It wasn't working. So I don't want to blame the pump in this case. Probably because I left it without crying. It's not good. That's one thing you should know. It's not good to leave fuel pump, especially when there is no fuel in the tank. I can't remember. Maybe the fuel dried off or something. I can't really remember what happened. But the pump died. So it was this same brand. But I also had to buy the same bag, put again. That's what is still there. Virtually 2-3 years later or so, after I started using the car again. So That's what you're seeing. It's still there. I bought another one, put it. That's what I see there. So it didn't discourage me because I know it might not be the fuel pump. That was the cause, but maybe because of the way I used it and left it. So I'm not saying it's not a perfect pump. There are other people that have had issues or with it. They will have their own stories. However, considering that I've been trying, see, before I use this pump, there's one pump I used before that served me well. I used for another 4 years. It served me another 4 years, I think. Before, and I tested like 3 different pumps before this one. They don't work well with VCs. You doing hard start, doing so many things, loss of power, this and that. So immediately this one started serving, I put this one, the full power came back, started working well. So I never bothered to check if on any other brand or test any other one. So my point is, at least for if you're a VCS user, understand that this pump is good enough. Of course, there are 2 different designs. I think one, the one they call small and the big. So it depends on the one that will match your fuel pump assembly. But of course, if your full assembly is dead, you can as well be able to buy complete case, not this type. Okay, I'm going to put the guy's number, the person I buy from. At least I trust that this one has been working for me. If it doesn't work for you, I don't know. But then, like I said, I buy for him and it works for me. So hopefully it works for you if you buy for him. You could buy from other people if their own is different or has lower quality or the same. Good for you. If it's not, well, you made that choice. So I'll put his phone number on the video description. He stays in Abuja, sells new Pojo Pass and the rest. All right, that's all.